Hey everyone, I have a special guest with me today. You ready to see? Hey everyone, Cristin here, and I have a special guest with me today to help us work on the red, white, and bloom quilt. Hey, come on in. Hey everyone, this is my grandson, my oldest grandson. What's your name?
Aiden.
Aiden, and how old are you?
9.
9 years old. So the middle grandson is Zachary. He's 7. Zenith is the second middle, because now I have Enzo too from Sarah. So Zenith is 5, almost 5. Turned 5?
Zenith just turned 5.
Just turned 5. Oh my goodness. I can't keep them all straight. So how many children are there in your family?
6.
6. It is a very full house and a very loud house, like all the time here. Craziness. Very, very hectic, but it works out great for you guys. And it works for me to visit for short times. So what should we work on today, Aiden?
The flower blossom blocks and the section 4 filler blocks.
All right, so the flower blossom blocks, and there are 5 of them, and then the filler, what was it called?
Section 4 fillers.
Section 4 fillers. All right, so let's start with the flower blossom block. What page is that on?
17.
Page 17. So in our booklet, page 17. If you can give me the stuff out of that packet, I'll hold this one, so we'll work on that one after. So this one, there's a couple things I want to point out. Thank you so much. Good job. And you can either stay there or sit down, whatever you want to do. So we're going to talk about these flower blossom blocks. So I want to point out one very important thing. There is an error on this page 17. And I found it, if you go to the Kimberbell website before you start any project, and I don't remember what it's under, there's this part on their website that you can look up for any mistakes. If there's product updates, I think that's what it's called. And there is one mistake on this page, on page 17, under flowers 1, 3, and 5. It says that there are 2. But there's actually 3. All right, so that's the one thing I want to point out that's very important. But it actually doesn't matter at all, because the product information on the cut page was correct. So when you prepped all of your fabrics, you'll be fine. If you haven't already prepped, we're going to go over those now anyway, so you'll be totally fine. So flowers 1, 3, and 5 are all this. Oh, I shouldn't have put them in this order. I should have kept them together. That's how I'm going to do it instead. All right, sorry about that. So fabrics 1, 3, and 5. For flowers 1, 3, and 5, you can see it's this white houndstooth fabric. And make sure to back these with fusible stabilizer, not only because they're our main fabric, but also because they're white. So anything that you put on top or anything like that, it's going to show through. All right, so this white houndstooth fabric, okay? And these we're going to start with at 4.5 by 4.5. And like I mentioned on page 17, it shows that you only need 2, but you actually need 3. All right, very important. 3 pieces at 4.5 by 4.5 of the white houndstooth. All right, that's for flowers 1, 3, and 5. And then for flowers 2 and 4, it's another houndstooth, but this time it's a blue houndstooth fabric. All right, so same thing. This is for flowers 2 and 4, and these we're going to have at 4.5 by 4.5, just like that, the white houndstooth. 4.5 by 4.5 of the blue houndstooth for flowers 2 and 4. All right. And then let's see, I'm surprised. All right, so I was thinking, why don't we have the applique pieces for these flowers, but they're stitched. My mistake. So we are going to stitch them, and I'll go over that in photos. But number 1, flower 1 will have red, and flower 5. Those will both be stitched in red, and whereas flowers 2 and 4 are going to be stitched, the flower will be white, and then the middle one, flower 3, is going to be stitched in blue. And they are stitched, they're not applique. It looks like applique in the book for some reason. I was thinking it would be another fabric, but it's not. All right, so then we are going to quilt this, and whenever we quilt, we use batting. So for our batting, I believe it's 3x3. Yep, 3x3, 5 pieces of 3x3. These are 5 different blocks, the flower blocks. We are going to do 5 different blocks. So you know me, I'll probably bring you over to the computer and join them using Embrilliance Essentials or whatever embroidery software you use. I like to use Embrilliance Essentials. It makes it so that we can put more of them in one hooping. And since we're going to put these in one hooping, I was thinking we could also do the filler block. Where's that? Oh, I've got it. The filler block. So we can do the 5 small blocks and the 1 filler block, and we can finish up section 4 today. So that's pretty cool. So remember, 5 pieces of 3x3 for our batting. And then we are going to quilt this. Let's see. We are going to use a 2x2 quilting design. They're going to be a little bit different. So the red and the blue flowers, so that's 1, 3, and 5. We are going to use Pebble 1 quilting design in a 2x2. And then the white flower, that's number 2 and 4. God bless you. White flower, we're going to use Plaid 1 in a 2x2. That's the quilting. So God bless you again. So on the red and blue flowers, 1, 3, and 5, it says Pebble 1 in a 2x2. It doesn't say if it's vertical. I'm not sure about that, and I have to look into that, but it doesn't matter because it's a square and there's no direction, so it's not going to matter anyway. All right, so we've got the 5 flower blocks, and we will work on those. And like I mentioned, I'm going to bring you over to the computer and see what we can merge together. But since we're going to do these, let's also work on, what was that other one you wanted us to work on?
Section 4 fillers.
He's working us so hard, huh? He's just making us do more and more and more. It's Aiden's fault. We'll blame Aiden when we're so tired tonight and we're like, oh, but I just want to go to bed. But Aiden is making me do more blocks. All right, so for our filler, what page did you say that's on?
32.
Oh, thank you. So I'm going to pull that up real quick here. So page 32, that will help me to know what size and the quilting. So for the section 4 filler blocks, there is 1 filler block, just 1, nice and easy. So we're going to start with this at, let's see here, it must be 3x5. So remember, in my prep video, I suggested that you cut your filler blocks a little bit larger than what they say in the book. So in the book, it probably says 2.5 by 4.5, and that will work totally fine. But my suggestion is 3x5. It gives you enough room that it will tack down when we do that quilting design. All right, so we're going to use, for this one, we're going to use 2x4 orange peel. That's our quilting design on this pretty block. Look at how pretty that is. Yellow with white dots and pretty flowers. Don't you just think that's so pretty, Aiden? That's a really pretty block, huh? So that's our filler block. We've already done all the other blocks for this section, so we're going to finish it up today very easily. So orange peel is our quilting design in a 2x4, and then that means that we want our batting to be 3x5. So just like I've said on all the other filler blocks, I cut them to the same size as the filler block. Even if you cut your filler block smaller, like what it shows in the book, you still want your batting to be 3x5. All right, so 3x5 on your batting, orange peel quilting design, and that's our 1 filler block for today. And then Aiden will finally let us get some rest. All we have to do are those 5 flower blocks and the 1 filler block, and then he'll say, okay, you've done enough. We can go to sleep now. Hey everyone, so I am back from my trip to California, and I have my computer and my filming camera and my microphone, so I can show you on Embrilliance how we can do the flower blossoms and the 1 filler block together in one hooping if you choose. So you can do them separately, but it will definitely save on stabilizer and time since we have 5 flower blocks and 1 filler block. So I am going to open up Embrilliance Essentials. That is the embroidery software that I prefer. If you're in the market for embroidery software, please use my affiliate link. I will add it up at the top. I think it goes over here actually, yeah. So anyway, if you click on that and choose Embrilliance Essentials, then you can get the embroidery software as well. So I am, let's see, I opened it up and it's on my 7x12 hoop. I'll give you a little hint. I already tested this and I know it works on a 7x12 really well. It also fits on a 6x10. It's just tight on one part. There will be some overlapping of fabrics, and if you don't have a problem with that, then you can save a little bit of stabilizer and use your 6x10 hoop if you choose. I'm going to use my 7x12 just to give me a little bit more wiggle room. All right, so I'm on my 7x12 hoop. I can see that down here at the bottom. If you're not on the hoop you want, just go up to this preferences folder, choose the hoop that you want, say okay, and then go to this compass button and hit H so that it will zoom into the hoop for you. All right, so we're going to start by bringing in the quilting designs of those flower blocks. So I'm going to go here to merge stitch file. Archer's giving himself a bath right now. Sorry about that. All right, so the red and blue flowers, we are going to use the Pebble 1 quilting design. And so it's just asking, where is that file that you want me to open? I have mine on my desktop in my red, white, and blue folder. And we're going to use a 2x2, let's see, Pebble 1 2x2. So right there, Pebble 1 2x2. Double click on that and it will go to the center. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on it and I'm going to bring it all the way up here to this corner. Archer. Sorry, everyone. All right, so here are the 5 steps of the quilting. I'm going to click on the first one and I'm going to change the quilting designs. There's Lily too. She's joining in the party. And when we are going to do a copy and paste, it's easiest if we do all of our color changes now, and we want to do a color change so that we can do a color sort later and save on steps. All right, so I'm going to click on this first one, 1, 1, and then click on the color, and the first color that comes up for me is dark aqua. As always, it doesn't matter what color you use, it's just easiest, in my opinion, saves a little time to just use the first colors that come up. So now I'm on 1, 2, click on the color, and the first color that comes up for me is Blaze. And then 1, 3, click on the color, and we've already used dark aqua. You can see it up here in this window, the objects window. Archer. And then the second color is Marine. All right, and then 1, 4, click on the color, and we already used Blaze. You can see it right there. So the second orange color for me is Oriole. All right, and then let's see. There's white fabrics and blue fabrics. So we are going to have different colored fabrics. If you choose to, you could do a all over quilting design in gray, or you could do some in white and some in blue. I think I'm going to separate them into whites and blues. So I'm going to have this first one at this 1, 5. I'm going to click on the color, and the first color that comes up for me is Sprout. All right, so those 5 are done, keeping in mind that we'll have to change the 5th step on some of them. All right, so that's the first one. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Notice I clicked outside of the workspace and then I clicked on the design. You just want to make sure you've got all 5 steps. All right, because if we had done it from before, we'd probably only have this, the last step, since that's what we were working on before. So you can click on that. You can click here and drag up, whatever works for you, but make sure that you have all 5 steps. So I'm going to say Control C to copy, and then Control V like victory to paste. All right, and that gives us the second one. And remember, these are for the red and the blue flowers that are going to be in Pebble 1. And all of the red and blue flowers are on a white fabric. So that makes it easy. So I know that I want these first 3 to be the same quilting design color so that those can join. So notice it goes right on the top. It doesn't look like it's there, but you can see we have 1 design and now we have 2 designs. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the stitching, and I'm going to move it all the way over to this corner here. All right. And then I'm going to say Control V like victory to paste a 3rd one. See, now we've got our 3rd design, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it down to the center here. You can use your arrow keys on your keyboard, or you can use your mouse, whatever you want. All right, so remember that the first 3, so if I scroll up here, here's our first design and our second design and our 3rd design, and I have them all as Sprout, which means that there will not be a color step to change, a color stop to change the color. So if you don't want to use all the same thread colors on your red and blue quilting design flowers, then you would change that now. But I want the first 3 to be that same. All right, so now I'm going to click on one of these. It doesn't matter which one. Actually, you don't even have to do that. We've already got it highlighted from before. So I believe I can hit Control V to, like Victory, to paste a 4th one. All right, so there's the 4th one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this down here to the bottom left. And remember, I'm going to want to keep in mind that these first 3 are the same of that pebble. Actually, I just realized we're not using pebble again. That's my mistake. Don't copy that 4th one. If you did, like I did, just click on it and then click delete. Because the blue flowers, they're white flowers on the blue fabric. Those are going to be a different quilting design. Sorry, my mistake. I forgot about that. So that makes it easy to remember threads since we have 2 different quilting designs. Hold on just a second here. All right, sorry about that. My neighbor came to deliver me apples and oranges. How nice is that? All right, so back to where we were. Let me move these. Sorry for the sound. Okay, so we have the first 3 already done. Those are perfect. Now we're going to move on to the last 2 of the flower blocks. And like I mentioned, these are on the blue fabric. So we want a quilting design, quilting color different than the first 3 that are on a white fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use a different quilting design as well. So we're going to bring in plaid 1 for these. So I'm going to go to merge stitch file. And I am going to find, and now Archer's drinking water. Sorry about that sound. Hold on just a second. And he brought me more. Sorry about that. Okay, where were we? So we're going to bring in plaid 1 now. Right there. All right, and Archer's all agitated now because our neighbor came over. All right, plaid 1, embroidery files. Pez is what I use for my machine. And we're looking for a 2x2 right there. How pretty is that? I like that. 2x2 plaid 1. Double click on it. It will go to the center. And I'm going to go ahead and just click on it and drag it down here to the bottom corner. And remember, we need to change these colors again because we want these to do that same color sort. And we want them to have a different than the sprout. That 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5. We want that part different for this 4th one. All right, so I'm going to click outside of the workspace and then click on 4, 1. And then click on the color. And we want the same colors that we used before for the first 4 parts. Excuse Lily's drinking water now. It's kind of a crazy day. Just got back from California and everybody's very excited. All right, so I'm going to click on dark aqua because that's what we used for the first step of the other one. See, you can see it up here. So dark aqua, say okay. All right, and then for 2, click on the color and we're going to use blaze because that's what we used before and we want these parts to join. That's the placement and the tack down of the batting. And now we've got the placement of the main fabric. We want that to join with these others. So I'm going to click on 4, 3, click on the color. And now we've already used dark aqua, so we want that marine that we used on these others. You can see it up here. All right, 4, 4, click on the color. And we've already used blaze, so now we're going to use Oriole, just like up here on 3, 4. We're going to do the same for 4, 4, say okay. All right, and then here's that turquoise. We want this to be different than the sprout. So I'm going to go ahead and click on I'm on 4, 5, and then the color, and we've already used sprout. So now I'm going to use sea green and say okay. All right, so that one is done. I'm going to click outside of the workspace or click anywhere in the workspace to deselect what we had, and I'm going to click on it again so that I have all 5 steps, and I'm going to say Control C to copy and Control V like victory to paste. And see, now we have a 5th one. It's on top of this first one. I believe I can just click my arrow. Yep, that works. I'm clicking the arrow button on my keyboard to move it over to the right. Okay, so now those are done. Keep in mind, like I mentioned on the first 3, if you want a different thread color on each of these, then you would need to change that 5th step on each of them. I want the first 3 to have the same thread color, probably white as my background fabric is white. And then for these two are going to be on the blue fabric. So I'll probably use a blue thread for those two. So I'm keeping them that way for the sea green and sea green. Those will join. So those are all done. Now we want to bring in our filler blocks. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File. I believe it was orange peel for this one. Let me just confirm that real quick. So for this one, we want orange peel in a 2x4. I'm going to close up this and find my orange peel right there. And embroidery files and Pez. I thought I deleted all the others, but it looks like I missed that one. All right, so I'm looking for a 2x4 orange peel one right there. Double click on that and it goes to the center. I'm going to click on it and I'm just going to move it over using my arrow keys. That will keep it in the center. And it doesn't really matter, but it just gives me a little bit more room. You can see I have plenty of room here. So these flower blocks will have 1 inch of extra fabric on each side, about roughly. I think that's right. And then this filler block will only have 1/4 of an inch because I've cut it 1/2 inch larger. If you did not cut yours larger, then you wouldn't have any extra space. So you will not have any extra fabric, so you won't have to worry about extra space. All right, so again, I want these to merge with these others so that we can do it all at one time. We can cut all of the batting together and then tack down everything together. So I'm going to just use the same colors up here, except for that 5th step, this quilting design. This one is going to be on a yellow fabric, so I'm going to use a totally different color. So I'm going to go to 6-1, click on the color, and I want what we used before, which is dark aqua. And then 6-2, click on the color, and we used Blaze for that first one. And then 6-3, click on the color, and we used Marine. And then 6-4, click on the color, and we used Oriole. And then our last one, 6-5, click on the color, and we already used Sprout and Sea Green. So I'm going to go down to the 3rd one, which is Mint for me. All right, and those parts are all done. Now we need to remember to bring in that flower. So let me go back here. My poor book is just falling apart. A lot of people, as soon as they get a book, they bring it to like a copy center and get it bound. I need to start doing that because that is pretty brilliant, especially with how I use the books through all these tutorials. So that would be a smart thing for me to do. All right, so hey everyone, so I made a mistake yesterday, and so I'm going to redo part of this tutorial. My neighbor kept coming over, very kind, and yet made me mess up on something big, and so I spent quite a bit of time with my seam ripper. So I'm going to fix this part of the tutorial for you so that you don't have the same issue I had. So we are going to have to keep in mind that the direction that these are, that we have the white ones and then the blue ones and the different quilting and the different flowers. So I'm going to just change what I originally did, and I'll edit that part out so you won't even see it. So I don't even have to tell you about it, but I am anyway. So here we have the quilting, and this is what's so nice is because we have that Untitled 1, I deleted Untitled 2, and I can go back to that first one that has our 6 quilting designs because that part's all correct. So now we're going to bring in that flower. So if I go here to Merge Stitch File, and I am going to, let's see, oh, it was red, white, and blue. Sorry, I'm getting confused now between the 2 quilts I'm working on. So red, white, and blue, embroidery files, Pez, and then the red, white, and blue quilt. I'll just click on that and it will populate, and there's the flower. All right, so here's that first one that I made that was a mistake, so ignore that one. So I'm going to double click on that flower, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to bring it up here. Now, there's a couple of things I want to point out. See those, the square around it? That is for the placement and tack down of our fabric, but since we already did that in our quilting, we did that with a part of our quilting design, we don't need that. So we can actually, I'm going to go ahead and just delete it now. You could use it for placement, but we'll just align and distribute. That'll be easier. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on blue and orange, this 1 and 2, and I'm going to delete it. You have to remember, I will try to remember to mention that in the tutorial, that if you didn't delete them, then you would bypass them. But I'm going to go ahead and delete them now so that I can do a copy and paste, and it'll just be easier. So I'm clicking on 7.1 and 7.2. You saw I clicked from the right hand side and then down over. That's the easiest way, in my opinion, of selecting both of them. So 1 and 2. And like I said, we don't need these because we've already got our fabric tacked down, all right, in our quilting design. So I'm going to go ahead and click delete. Nice and easy, all right. Now, the negative with that is that it's harder to line this up, all right, to get it just right in the center. And that's why I'm going to just do the align. That will be easier. So we want to make sure, this is the important part, is we want to make sure that we have the right ones in with the right quilting, so that these top 3, this one and this one and this one, 2 of them will be red, 1 will be blue, and then these are the blue fabrics that we want the white flower on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this flower, right now it's at a candy apple, and that will be fine because we are going to use a red. I'm going to say Control C to copy it, just the flower. Notice I have just the flower selected, and then Control V like victory to paste it. And now I have 2 of them. It's right on top of the first one, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it over here. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and do another Control V like victory to paste a 3rd one, and I'm going to bring it down here, but we have to make sure to change the color because we only need 2 reds and one blue. So I'm going to just change this to a blue. So I noticed I clicked outside of the workspace. You can click on the pink. Well, your part's probably not pink. It's probably yellow. Something like that. I don't remember what my original was. If you ever want to change your background color, you can do it in this preferences folder. So I'm going to click on 9.1. That's that 3rd flower. And then click on the color, and I'm just going to look for a blue, just so that I remember that I want 2 of them to be red and I want 1 of them to be blue. There, slow down. All right, and it doesn't matter, any blue color. I'm choosing electric. You could even type electric into the search bar so you don't have to look for a blue if you want. All right, and then I'm going to say Control V like victory to paste another one. Let's see if it does it. Maybe not, because I have that selected. If I deselect, let's see. Yep, there it goes. All right, so you have to unselect that blue flower, and then it will do the Control V from before. Control V like victory is that paste button. All right, and it goes right on top of that first one again, and I'm going to bring it down here, and now these 2 are on blue fabrics, and so we want these flowers to be white. All right, or that's what it has in the book. It's up to you, obviously, what you do. So I'm going to go ahead and click elsewhere and then click on 10.1, and I'm going to click on the color, and I don't know if I'll do white because I might not be able to see it. There's white right there. I might do a gray, like warm gray. I'll do white when I do the quilting, or I'm sorry, when I do the embroidery design, but I think for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to do gray just so I can see it. All right, so I used warm gray for this 4th flower down here at the bottom left. Now I'm going to click on that flower because the others were these, the red, but this one I want to be the same. So I'm going to click on that flower and say Control C. I'm on this 10.1, Control C to copy, and Control V like victory to paste, and it pastes that right over the first one, and there's our 5th flower. So again, red, red on the top, blue in the middle, and then white, white for the bottom, okay? And that's how we are going to lay out our fabrics. You just want to make sure to get the same lined up with your fabrics. And we need to make sure to do an alignment. We have to do it before we do a color sort, all right? So that, because you won't be able to move them once we do a color sort, everything will be, instead of 11 designs, it will be 1 design. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to, let's see, how should I do this? I'm going to close these designs up. All right, and I'm going to click on the first one, which is that quilting design, that pebble one in the upper left-hand corner. And then I'm going to click on the first flower, but I have to hit my control button on my keyboard to get both of them. So notice I have 1 and 7 selected. And I'm going to go up here to Utility, align and distribute, and I'm just going to say center, center, apply. All right, and see, it went right to the center of just that quilting design. Notice it did move the quilting design down a bit. I'm going to hit close, and since they're both selected, 1 and 7, I'm going to go ahead and just click and move it back up to the corner just to give me more space for my fabrics. All right, and then I am going to go ahead and do the same thing for number 2. So I'm going to click on number 2 of the quilting, and then number 8, I'm going to hit Control 8, and I have the 2 and 8 now selected, and I'm going to go to Utility, Align and Distribute, and Center, Center, and Apply. All right, close, and then I'm going to bring it back up to the corner there since it moved a little bit. And then number 3, the one in the center, I'm going to click on number 3 and number 9 by clicking my Control button. I can get both of those. And Utility, Align and Distribute, Center, Center, so that it will center just up with that quilting design. And close, and I'm going to move it back over to the left there. Perfect. All right, and then we want the 4th quilting design down here and the first of the white flowers. So number 4 and number 10 by hitting our Control button, and then Utility, Align and Distribute, and I'm going to say center, center. All right, and that's perfect. Close, and then I think it moved over a little bit. I'm going to move it back, and then we have the last one, number 5 quilting and number 11. Hit your Control button to make sure that both are selected. And then, so it's 5 and 11, and then Utility, Align and Distribute, Center, Center, Apply, close, and move it back over to the corner. All right, so see how easy that was? So now make sure to check real quick, make sure you're not over the hoop lines at all, make sure everything is where you want it to be before we do our color sort. So we currently have 35 color steps. I'm going to go to Utility, Color Sort, and it's reduced it by 23 color changes. So let's click New View. It'll open another tab. For me, it's Untitled 3 because I had that error one. For you, it should say Untitled 2. And then I'm going to quickly look through these and make sure that it did what I think it should do. So we have the placement stitch for the batting all together, the tack down of the batting, the placement of the main fabric, the tack down of the main fabric, and the first 3 quilting designs, I'm going to do them in white. And then the next 2 quilting designs, those are on the blue fabric, so I'll use a blue. And then the last quilting design, that's on the yellow fabric, so I'll be using a yellow. And then we have the 2 reds, the 2 red flowers, the 1 blue flower, and the 2 white flowers. I have mine as gray just so I could see it in this embroidery software, but for the thread I'll use a white. So those worked out perfectly. That's exactly what we want to make sure to happen. So I am going to do a file, save stitch file as, and let's see, I am going to name this Flower Blossom Filler. So see, I already did this. I made a mistake, so I'm going to go ahead and save right over it. But for you, you can name it whatever will make it easy for you to find it. I named mine Flower Blossom Filler 4 because there's one filler block and it's section 4 and it's the flower blossom blocks. And it's going to ask me, are you sure you want to replace it? And yes, I do. All right, and then I have my machine on, so I'm going to go ahead and send it to my Solaris. Actually, it's not a Solaris, mine's a Luminaire. Solaris is the Baby Lock version. Brother and Baby Lock are the same machines, just different names for the most part. All right, so that will give you results. Don't forget to check the settings to make sure you have that same settings that I do for the color sort, and we're all good to go. So let's finish up this one for our red, white, and bloom quilt. right. So tell me a little bit about our day today, Aiden.
Well, we made s'mores with meltables in a little like tray, and there were the meltables were flavored, so we had caramel, strawberry, cookies and cream, and lemon.
Yeah, was that all of them? 4, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Good job.
And
Which one was your favorite?
caramel.
Caramel. I think that was my favorite too. What was Abigail's favorite?
Strawberry?
Strawberry, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And Zeta liked cookies and cream. Lemon was my second favorite, though. What was your second favorite?
Strawberry.
Oh, still same as Abigail. So they were good. It was really fun. So instead of regular s'mores, so you get these meltables that come in a bag, and it's like chocolate nuggets type of thing, and you put it in the microwave, melt it a little bit, and then we pour it into the cavity of the silicone mold, and then you put a graham cracker, and then what did we put in the middle?
The marshmallow fluff.
Marshmallow fluff, and then what was next?
Graham cracker.
Another graham cracker, and then on the top,
cover it with more
and
melted.
then more meltables.
Meltables.
Yeah, and then we put them in the fridge. Like super easy, super fun, easy thing to do. And we did it with all these different flavors instead of like the regular vanilla. We used 4 different flavors, and then we cut them up into 4 so that we could do a taste test to see what everyone liked best. And that was just super fun. A very easy, special treat to make, and fun, easy to do, right?
And sugary.
And sugary. Oh my gosh, who went crazy after? Was it Zachary?
Zachary.
Yeah, so the kids aren't really used to having sugar. They actually don't eat very much sugar, but Mama let them have a little treat because Grandma wanted to make something special with them, and that was just an easy thing to do. And we also had another treat today.
We had ice cream cake.
We had an overload of sugar today. What was the ice cream cake for?
Great Grandma's birthday.
Great Grandma had a birthday today, and she drove all the way up from Aptos, 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours each way to come up and see all the kids and see us because we're here visiting from Idaho. So yeah, we had quite a sugary fun day, but we also got a couple of walks in, but not really enough exercise for all the things that we did, for all the treats we had. And we had pizza for dinner too.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So Grandma needs to get on the treadmill tonight. Right? You're gonna make me work hard, get on the treadmill? Yeah, good plan. All right, so I wanted Aiden to be able to tell you about our day. He needs to get off to bed. I'm sure that I'm keeping him up, and I have to get to work on my blocks so that Aiden can go, all right, you can be done. And my shirt today is the Bloom Where You Are Planted shirt. I love this one. I've got lots of different colors of bling on there. The Hot Fix rhinestones. Lots and lots of different colors on it. So that's just a fun thing to have on your shirt. I love this one. So I will add information. I'm pretty sure this was a Hoop Mama Designs, but I'll check what I have in my little notes and add that below the video.